it's Adam Weingarten. Hey, today we're going to talk about the overview of our total program and how we look at whole player development. How it works all the way from the vision of our program to every single detail that goes on here daily. So we're going to give you a basic overview of how this whole operation works. You know, every great company, every great business, every great program starts off with a vision of where everything should go and where every decision should be made. And most people do this through a mission statement. They have a statement that the company lives by. They go by whether it's customer service, how they're going to treat clients, or the product in which they're trying to develop. Here, our mission statement is simply this: every stakeholder in our program is here to develop the whole player in a team atmosphere. We're going to value your character, your academics, and your athletics equally, and we believe that all three components are essential to the program, and we want every person in our program to leave what we call a champion for life that's better prepared for the real world by being in our program. So that's not just a statement here, that's something that we live, breathe, and it's really something to the core of who I am as a leader of our program. So within every company, whether it's the CEO, the president, or here as the head football coach, the mission has to be to the core of that person individually, because it's something they have to live every day. It's something that has to be seen in every part of the program. And every part of our program has their handprints on it. And so that all comes back to is our why in this business. Why are we in this? Why it pushes us, okay? So the first thing we do is we have to all understand our why. And I think it's important that the mission statement is based off of that, because you every day really has to be who you are and what you live. So the first thing to do before you have your mission statement is you need to understand and discover what is your why in this business. Why are you in this business and how that drives, because your mission statement should drive every decision in your program, okay? You know, so for me, I went to a lot of different schools growing up. I moved a lot. I played for a lot of different coaches. And I had good experiences and I had bad experiences, but I never got settled. To this day, I don't have roots that I can call home of a place that I live that I can go back to. So I moved. I went to 3 high schools. I went to 2 middle schools. Went to 4 elementary schools. And then when I went to college, I had several different quarterback coaches and coordinators. So I experienced a lot of different personalities while I was there. But when I was in school, I read a book called Making the Big Time Where You Are by Foster Westring, who's the head coach at Pacific Lutheran. And I also was friends with a guy that played quarterback for them named Mark Weekly. He went on to play Canadian League football in the national championship. But this is back in the late 90s. And Mark told us stories of how Frosty would do different things with them besides football. He would take them to the beach. They would build pyramids. They would do all kinds of team activities, which at that time frame was really unheard of. And he was really way ahead of his time from a culture standpoint. And I thought to myself, wow, that is so awesome. I played at so many schools. If I ever had a chance to be a head coach, I want to really run a program that thinks outside the box and really values every part of the player, not just how we perform on the field. So ultimately, that's what helped create our mission statement about developing the whole player, making it bigger than just athletics, and valuing every part of them so they can have a great team experience and leave here we call a champion for life. So that's what ultimately drives the top part of our program and every single thing beneath that. But with that, once you have a mission statement, now you have to think about what are we going to do with that? What are our decisions going to drive? All right, so it's really important in your program that you create 2 things. You create short-term objectives and you create long-term objectives. And so you ask, why is this important? Because the mission of your program has got to be filtered to every single person that touches your program. And it has to be something that everybody believes in and works for, not just you as a leader. So it's important that you give people 2 things. You give them something to think about what we're going to accomplish short term, and then what is the greater overall vision of the program. A lot of times people just give the long-term vision, which is the greater all picture of what they want to accomplish as a program, and this may take 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 years to accomplish. And what happens sometimes is that when those things aren't happening quickly, they tend to lose support because they give this grand vision that people can't see progress immediately, okay? So it's important to give people the short-term vision of the program is these are things that we can accomplish now so we can accomplish this big vision later. So you have a mission, and then being able to communicate that with your people appropriately is really, really, really important. So we're saying communicate with these people. Well, who are these people? Who do we need to communicate our mission and our short, long-term objectives with? So it's really important that you identify who are all the people in your program. And so we talked about earlier that all people in our program, all stakeholders, will be on a mission to develop the whole player. So think about the word stakeholders. Simply do this. List all the people in your program that could possibly affect your players and help make them better. Okay? And that goes to a range of people. Your boosters, your teachers, your school community, your faculty, your administration, your parents, your coaches, all those things. Who are all the stakeholders in our program? And how do we identify them and give them roles to help our players have a positive experience? So it's like this. If any one of those stakeholders are involved, it doesn't make their experience the best it can be. So we talked about we want the players to leave a champion for life with the best experience possible. Well, we need all people. It takes a village to run a great program. It takes a village for players to grow up and learn the values they need to be productive citizens and great players in your program, all right? So we want to create the snowball effect. We don't want any group to feel not valued. We want every group to feel a part of the mission and the vision of the program, okay? So we want to be able to take that, identify all those people, and then have an opportunity to connect them within our program. The people in an athletic program are basically broke down into these categories. Your administration, your players, your parents, your booster club, and then your community, which could be your school community and your local community. And how do we connect all those groups? Because if every group is connected and we have great community support, our boosters are connected to help our program plan take off, our administration's on board with our scheduling and how everything works. We have teachers that are connected with our players, our student bodies connected to the spirit of our program, our coaches are about the mission of what we're doing and they're important to our young people. You get the picture. It creates this humongous snowball effect that's going to help our program not just excel off on the field, but it's going to help us excel off the field and the total experience for our players. So it's important that we have that mission, we have objectives, all right, and that all of our people are involved within that mission. So again, if every part of the player is important, okay, then every single person that touches that player's life is equally as important, and they've got to feel valued and they've got to be connected within the program. It's important that we understand that if all the people are important, as we've just discussed, that every part of the program that they can be involved with is equally as important. So how do we connect these people? Well, first of all, like we said before, they have to understand the overall mission, the vision of the program, okay? They have to all have a role and feel valued, but they have to understand where do they plug in, okay? So there are 7 areas of an athletic program. There's athletic development, academic development, character development, there's facilities and equipment, there's community involvement, there's staff development, and then there's what we call post-secondary development. All 7 areas are just as important. Like we said earlier, if one person is left out, the player experience isn't what it should be. Well, if any one of the programs is left out, okay, if post-secondary development or community involvement or character development, if any one part isn't where it needs to be, okay, then the total player experience isn't what it should be either, okay? So do this simply. Look at your program and simply write down what are all your program areas. And they can be different for different places. But for us, and for most athletic programs, it is those 7 areas that are important. Well, that should give you a basic overall view of our entire program and how to structure a flow chart for whole player development. I would encourage you to do this, to go back and think through what is your why in this business? Do I have a mission statement? What is our mission statement? It is what we live by, our visions that truly drive our entire program. Do we have short-term objectives that we can communicate with our people and they understand what we can accomplish immediately to accomplish the bigger vision within our program? Have I identified all the people in our program? Do they all feel valued? Do they have a role in our program? Simply write down those people. Get a notepad and write down all the people that can positively affect your program. And then list out how can they make our program better, and be clear communicators in that. Write down the program areas that you have. And I'll guarantee you this, if you will write down everything you're doing in each area, you'll be very surprised at all the great things you're already accomplishing, but you also look at it and find ways that you need to improve and start to set goals. So I would encourage you to have the 10% rule, which is to look at those program areas and pick 10% of things that you will always keep and you will push, that will give your players a great experience, that have 10% that you will improve in it each year. So if you look at all 7 areas in your program and you make one improvement goal in each area, and you do that for the next season, well, think about it. Your program has improved 7 times. If you do that over a course of 3 years, think about it. 3 times 7 is 21. Your program could have improved 21 times in 3 years by just being intentional about evaluating your program, talking to your people, getting feedback. Everybody in our program, all of our stakeholders, give us valuable information to make our program better. And most of our ideas do not come from me, I promise you. It comes from our boosters, our faculty, our coaches, our players, and it helps our program improve, okay? So focus on whole player development and running a great program over a great team, because I promise you, a great team will follow. So, hey, that's it for today. That's a quick program overview of whole player development. Hey, just remember, you're born to be special, and take care.